2025, it provides us with a great opportunity to reflect on our pride in the service, our staff, and what they bring to our patients in an increased pressured national, regional and local context. Amongst our achievements for 2024-2025, we were recognised by Newsweek as the 15th best orthopaedic hospital in the world and the best in the UK. We were recognised in the top 15 NHS performers nationally for patient experience based on the 2023-2024 National Inpatient Survey. And when compared with other trusts, our performance was much better than most trusts for 4 questions and better than most for 6 questions. So we've done really, really well. And it's a real credit to our staff with all of the really good work that they have done. Whilst we celebrate that our staff deliver some of the best care in the NHS in England, we must remain focused on identifying improvements in the way that we deliver our care through our strategy, our priorities, which Paul will cover in a moment. As we consider our achievements over the past year, the focus on the present and the future, we do so in the context of a large amount of uncertainty, both globally and nationally, and the difficult decisions which may continue to be focused on and the decisions to be made centrally with respect to the allocation of national funding and resources. And we know that's going to be a challenge, and we've had lots of discussions about this at board, and so we must really focus on that moving forward. The constant we do enjoy, however, is the unwavering dedication and professionalism of our teams. And it was a great pleasure to be able to recognise teams and individuals at our annual staff awards in March of this year. It's this dedication and professionalism underlined by the feedback from our patients that makes us fit to handle the challenges that we have ahead of ourselves. I'd like to take this opportunity to offer my thanks to my board colleagues, both executives and non-executives, for their commitment throughout the year. And with particular thanks, I'd like to recognise those board members that left us during the course of this year. So our Vice Chair, Dr. Jane Collins, our Non-Executive Director, Anita Pashmita, and obviously Professor Becky Shipley. We also lost Kate Cox, our Director of Operations this year. And this year, I'm delighted to welcome to the board new non-executives, Michael MacDonald and Professor Manish Tishwari. We have and Chief Operating Officer Tanya Joseph Kunde. In addition, we've also appointed some new non-executive directors, albeit that they were appointed towards the end of the reporting period. And we have most recently Dr. Tony Shapiro and obviously Felicity Cooper. And Dr. Shapiro will be my vice chair moving forward. So thank you for that. And it would be absolutely remiss of me not to mention our CFO and Deputy Chief Director, Caroline Owusu-Benoit, who has moved on to a much larger trust. She steps down from her role. She's going to a trust which is much closer to her home. And we have to formally put on record our thanks for her contributions during her time here. She's not only been a great colleague, but also a great board member. And I'm sure while she has gone, it's not goodbye. And we wish her the very, very best moving forward. And we look forward to welcoming her replacement, Helen Jameson, to that role, who will be joining us in a few months. And we have to say thank you to Jenny Cousins for stepping in as acting CFO during the interperiod period. So thank you very much for that. So I'm really, really proud to lead the board. We do some fantastic work here at the RNOH. We have such dedicated teams around us, and I look forward to the year ahead. And at this point, I'm going to hand over to Paul, who will take us through some of the performance.
Great, thank you. Wrong way. It's a good start, isn't it? Thank you very much for that, Doris. Apologies in advance, I've got loads to say, and so therefore I've made myself some notes. So my apologies if I keep looking down at slides, because I don't want to miss any of the There are lots of exciting stuff to cover in today's AGM. So firstly, afternoon everybody, and welcome to this year's annual general meeting. It's always a privilege to reflect on the year gone by and to recognise the contributions of our staff and our partners that we work with, but also to look ahead with a sense of ambition and clarity about the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead of us. This past year has definitely been one of significant progress, but one where we've had to adapt to a, I think everybody would agree, really fast changing NHS environment during that period. So today I want to give it a balanced view, the highlights, the lessons, and also how we're positioning the RNOH for the future. So in 2024, we focused our efforts on 5 major transformation programs, and you can see the detail of those on the screen in front of you. I think that structure really helped us maintain clarity and discipline throughout the year, ensuring that change wasn't just happening in isolated pockets, but across the organisation. And the results have been tangible. So we achieved GIRF Surgical Hub accreditation during this reporting period, giving us national recognition for the quality and efficiency of our surgical services. We carried out a detailed review of our services against CQC standards, which helped us identify strengths, but also areas for improvement. We expanded on our patient-initiated follow-up pathways, ensuring that patients can access the care whenever they need it, as opposed to being locked into rigid appointment cycles. And we developed enhanced recovery pathways for paediatric scoliosis patients, improving outcomes for young people and their families. As we move into 2025, our focus is firmly remains on delivering our trust strategy, which we've talked about in previous annual general meetings. We know some of this is going to be challenging. Growth is harder to achieve because of national changes in how services are funded, and the financial climate across the NHS is challenging. We also know, though, that we have some important opportunities ahead of us, and the most significant of those, I would say, from the slide that's in front of you, is our electronic health record, which goes live this year in November. In fact, if my maths is right, 58 days. I can't give you hours and minutes as well, but 58, I think, days. It might be 57. It might be 57. It might be 57. We're paying for minutes for that, and so I got it right first time. 57 days. This is much more than a technology upgrade. It's a platform that transforms the way that we work as an organisation. By bringing patient information together into one place, it will improve safety, support better clinical decision making, allow us to modernise our processes. It's also going to unlock opportunities for research, for productivity gains, and new ways of engaging patients in their care. It's one of the most important changes that the RNOH has made in a generation, and you're going to hear more about it from Dr. Lina shortly, so I will not talk much more about it because I don't want to steal her thunder. So the RNOH has always been known for our quality of care, and this year we've strengthened that reputation through a series of quality improvement initiatives. The patient safety reporting and incident reporting frameworks now fully embedded across the trust, helping us to consistently learn from incidents and make safety improvements. Our Go for Gold initiative has seen all 13 of our clinical areas accredited, which is an enormous achievement and a real credit, not just to the teams involved actually, but to the many other people that are involved in that. I look to pass on my rights and many other people who are involved in those kinds of processes. Thank you. Our Shine and Share programme created space for our teams to step back, reflect on the CQC's 5 key domains, and identify importantly where they're excelling and spread that innovation across the organisation. And importantly, I think also this year we've built a culture of sharing expertise through a number of key conferences. So our therapies conference in November, our nursing conference in December highlighted the depth of knowledge amongst those professions, while our inaugural patient safety conference in March brought together disciplines in order to focus on patient safety. Sorry, it's a delay in my clicker. Beyond these organisational initiatives, our clinical teams have also been pushing boundaries. So our bone infection team undertook a major study in the management of adverse drug reactions to fluoroquinolones. That work was recognised nationally, and the team won the first prize in the Oxford Bone Infection Conference. We've introduced physio and nurse-led pathways follow-up appointments in sarcoma patients, and showed through that how advanced practice can improve both patient experience and efficiency. We launched open visiting across all inpatient areas in June of 2024, and that's been really positively received by patients, their families and staff. And our dietetic and physiotherapy teams have been leading on a new pilot programme to support weight management in patients with a spinal cord injury, helping to address not just their physical health, but their quality of life also. So one of our priorities, as you would expect, is listening to people who use our services. In the reporting year 2024-25, our PALS contacts rose to 3,688 from 2,790 the year before. And on the face of it, that looks concerning. We believe that that largely reflects issues with communication and information. Many of those queries relate to patients and carers not being able to get through to departments or being able to receive timely updates about mostly not their care, it's mostly their appointment. We've already taken action, including strengthening telephone answering processes. But actually, we anticipate that the launch of EPIC, and in particular the My Care portal, is going to provide further opportunities to improve that particular area of patient experience. Complaints, as you can see in the graph, also rose, which is not something that we want to see. However, every complaint is an opportunity for us to learn as an organisation. The RNOH is not unique across the NHS in seeing a rise in complaints over this period and beyond this period. And our teams work really hard in order to identify learning and improvement that they can embed in their services. Our friends and family test performance has remained relatively stable throughout 2024-25, with more than 9 in 10 patients having received a positive or very positive experience of their care. Our ambition, though, is to drive that experience even higher to consistently maintain those levels of performance. We'll achieve that through the quality improvement mechanisms that I've already described as I've been talking. But also through our ongoing transformation programmes, ensuring that we're taking the full advantage of technology or the full advantages that technology is likely to provide us over the coming years. Moving to the national data, it's encouraging to see improvements in the National Inpatient Survey 2024 National Inpatient Survey, where the RNOH was rated better than expected overall. And in several of the key areas, such as waiting for a bed, being included in discussions about care and receiving support with health and social care needs at discharge, we were rated as much better than expected compared to other trusts. It's a really strong endorsement from patients themselves, and it demonstrates that whilst there are clearly areas that we need to improve, we're getting the fundamentals right as an organisation in terms of patient experience. On the operational side, activity has continued to grow. We treated more than 16,000 inpatients and 168,000 outpatients during this reporting year. All 3 of the national cancer standards were met, which is a really significant achievement and not something that you often see in providers across the NHS. Our referral to treatment performance was strong, with just 0.9% of patients waiting more than 52 weeks by the end of March, which was comfortably within the national target. We've also invested in improving access. So we've done some estate work in the Philip Newman outpatients area, now provides 8 new clinic rooms and a procedure room. We've really embraced as an organisation virtual appointments as well, where appropriate. In fact, we have amongst the highest use of virtual appointments in any provider in London, and the highest of all of the members of the National Orthopaedic Alliance, which is partly driven by our staff wanting to drive that as a way to interact with patients, and also partly driven by the national referral base that we have as an organisation. We've also introduced some advanced imaging into the organisation, namely the curve beam high-rise scanner. And these together are all really practical steps in how we're trying to improve patient access and experience at the same time. And so clearly none of this would be possible without our people, and we've worked hard this year to support them. The 2024 National Staff Survey provides some really useful detailed feedback, and you can see some of the highlights on the screen in front of you there. I'm really proud that the RNOH remains, according to our staff, a great place to work, and in some cases, and by some measures, amongst the best place to work in the NHS. But that's on a background of really significant pressure, industrial action and fundamental changes in the way that we work in the NHS over recent years. The impact of that on our workforce shouldn't be underestimated, and it's therefore really essential as we go forward that we continue to have a laser focus on the experience of our staff over the coming years. As a result of the 2024 staff survey feedback, we've taken action to respond. So, for example, we've expanded our staff wellbeing initiatives, including 24/7 access to food fridges for staff, which came through as a critical issue for people. The value recognition platform enhanced the employee assistance programme and developed a new psychology pathway. We've refreshed the staff benefits package, celebrated our teams through staff awards, held festive recognition events, all to strengthen morale. And these things really matter because we know that when our staff feel valued, when they're supported and engaged, our patients benefit directly. So all of this adds up to a really strong foundation. The RNOH has very recently been ranked the second best performing acute provider in England in the National Oversight Framework, which measures access, outcomes, safety, workforce and finance. That recognition reflects the hard work of all of our colleagues across the organisation, and it shows that even in a difficult environment, we can make, and we are making, real progress. As we look ahead, our job is to hold on to that momentum, embrace the opportunities, particularly of digital transformation, but wider opportunities, and keep our focus squarely on delivering excellent care for our patients. So thank you for your support, for joining us today, people that have joined us externally to our AGM. And I'd now like to hand over to Jenny, who's our acting CFO, who's going to take us through the financial summary.
Hello everyone, I'm Jenny Cousins and I'm the Acting Chief Financial Officer, and today I'll just be giving you a brief overview of the financial position for the 24-25 financial year. So the Trust finished the financial year with an adjusted deficit of £5.5 million. Adjusted deficit of £5.5 million a year, and this was £2.1 million adverse to plan. Although the organisation achieved over 95% of its efficiency plan targets for the year, this was offset by some lower than planned patient care income variances. I'll move on to talk a little bit more about the income and expenditure position for the organisation, and this is really around the kind of the day-to-day running costs for the hospital. As you can see from the chart that you're seeing now, the majority of our income does come from commissioners across the country. As a specialist organisation, we have a very wide range of commissioners that we work with. The largest kind of group of commissioners comes from the integrated care boards, and we also have a large amount of income that comes from NHS England, which is linked to the specialist commissioning. Other income streams really come from patient care activity, education and research, but as you can see from the graph, the majority of our income does come from those commissioning organisations. And move on to expenditure. As you can see again from the graph, the majority of our expenditure is on pay costs, so relates to staff payments and salaries. And the second largest area is then the 20% that you can see, which is for clinical supplies. and other areas really around the kind of the running costs of the estate, which include transport and utilities. But again, pay costs are really, make up around just over 50% of our total expenditure. So that gives us our kind of revenue position, and that's the day-to-day running costs of the organisation. But we also invest in longer-term projects around the infrastructure. And this is what falls into the kind of capital expenditure position. So the chart here gives us an overview of where the majority of the spend was in 24-25, and as you can see, it was really linked to the electronic health record. In addition to the large project, which we'll be hearing a little more about later on, we also have continued spend in medical equipment replacement and infrastructure relating to the estate, so backlog maintenance, those kind of things. Also in 24-25, there was additional investment around imaging. As an NHS organisation, there are a number of targets that we do try to achieve. We met our target relating to the capital resource limit. That's related to how much we spend on capital within the year. Other targets we weren't able to achieve this year. One of them relates to the revenue control total, which I've just explained a little bit around. So that's to do with our adverse variance to plan. In addition to that, we have a break-even duty, and this is where our income and expenditure should cover each other over a period of 3 years. So we've not actually been compliant with that this year either. The better practice payment code is a further target, and that relates to how quickly we're able to pay our suppliers. At the end of the year, on average, we're at about 89%. We do continue to strive to get this to the 95% target, which has been set for NHS organisations. If I move on to 25-26, the current financial year, we have a break-even plan for this financial year, which means that our income and expenditure plan should be aligned. In order to deliver that, we have to deliver an efficiency of 5%, which is just under £11 million. In order to do that, we need to continue to look to transform the services, but we should be able to build on the good work that we did in 24-25 around this. Finally, just to cover again capital investment, as you'll be aware, we've got the ongoing investment in the electronic health record, and alongside that, we continue to invest in the estate to ensure that we have infrastructure fit to deliver services in the best way possible. So continue investment in medical equipment and estates backlog as well, alongside the electronic health record. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a little update about the electronic health record, which we've heard quite a lot about. I think there is an assumption that everybody knows what it is, but just to clarify, it is a single platform. It's a digital platform which holds all the patient information in a single place and integrates with other systems such as GP records. So for a patient, it is should be a much easier place where you don't have to keep repeating your information over and over again. At least some of it will be there in the system. It draws through information from each visit, so that again it should reduce the having to tell your story over and over again, which I think is a common frustration in patients. But it also is going to allow better patient communication and improve the ability for patients to become involved in their own healthcare. We began this journey in 2021-22 when we changed our strategy as a trust, and when the Frontline Digitisation Programme, which is an NHS central NHS programme, came online following COVID to provide funding for hospitals which did not have an electronic health record. The national aim is that every hospital should have a single platform. There are a number of suppliers. We went through a lengthy process, however, done this as quickly as possible, really, and I think we have moved quite quickly through a business case process, won funding, and then went out to procure and contract with a supplier. And we've done that with a company called Epic, which is a very large American-based software company, very experienced in this area, and acknowledged actually as market leaders. So I think that was chosen by our staff, and it was overwhelmingly the choice of the staff in hospital. We've done this in collaboration with one of our partners in North Central London, University College London, who implemented EPIC. They were the second site that implemented EPIC in the UK in 2019. They are hugely experienced at using the system, but also working with EPIC. And so this is really a tripartite collaboration. The advantages of working with other people in this is that we've been able to share the learning from what went well and what didn't go so well, and to put that into place, we have shared their experience, and we've got shared the huge resources in terms of experience to put this system in. The implementation program is a 12-month program, which is very fast to put in a electronic health record, and it wouldn't be possible to do that if you didn't have this kind of expertise and support around us. We also hope that this will benefit a lot of our patients who have shared pathways. We have patients who move between ourselves and UCLH, and also between ourselves and Great Ormond Street, or Royal Marsden, both of which are EPIC trusts. So it also, using EPIC allows you to see the patient records, the patients who have any care at any other EPIC site, and again, seamlessly able to look into the patient record and work with our patients, I think, in a much more streamlined way. The journey to EPIC has, as I say, been relatively pacey since the contracts were signed, and we're now entering the last 2 months of the programme to the milestone, and I think it's important that the go live is simply a milestone in the journey. We will be going live at 2 or 3 a.m, time to be decided nearer the time, on the 23rd of November, which is a Saturday night to Sunday morning, and that's been chosen deliberately, of course, to cause the least impact for patients on both sides. We will then have a period of stabilisation to follow that, and then we'll move to a business as usual arrangement. And actually what that is that we will be working with UCLH and with EPIC to maximise and optimise the use of the system over the next few years. So putting it in is really just the start of the journey. The team is led by as I say, collaboration across UCLH and the RNOH, and I think that's been a really important and very valuable partnership, and also an exemplar for other sites in the UK. We are the first true Connect site that's in the UK, using 2 completely different trusts rather than just different sites of the same trust. We've got a clinically led programme, and I think this is a huge testament to many of our staff who have embraced this with real enthusiasm. It's led by a team who are broader than this, but our clinical informatics team, and it's incredibly important to have both the buy-in but also the leadership from all staff groups. This has also been an opportunity to upgrade a huge amount of digital equipment around the trust. We had a relatively unsophisticated digital environment prior to this. We've had the opportunity to upgrade our Wi-Fi, which not only staff but also patients, of course, should find an advantage, and to put in new equipment which is modern, fit for the future and fit for purpose. As just a note to anybody, don't move any of the equipment, please, patients and staff. If you see something plugged in, leave it where it is. It's all location based. So, but I think this is a really fantastic step forward. You can't use the fancy app if you don't have a phone in the first place, and that's really the situation that we've been in. We are going through a technical rehearsal at the moment, and we are the only site in Europe to ever have been scored excellent. So that's a real testament to our technical team, and we're very proud of the work that they're doing. There's a an expansive programme. There really isn't any part of the trust that this programme doesn't touch. So everything that is patient facing, but also many of the services that sit behind that and support patient activities are involved in the programme, and there are work streams which have involved a huge number of people across the trust to make decisions about what these systems should look like, to choose, insofar as we've been able to choose what will work best for us here at the RNOH. One of the most important things, I think, is this Paul referred to, the launch of a patient portal, My Care app, which patients will be able to have on their phone. You'll be able to see your appointments, see your results. You'll be able to receive questionnaires and communicate with the hospital directly. You'll be able to receive patient information leaflets, and this will be supported by a help desk, which I think importantly will be manned by real people, though in time we may have a chatbot for some of those functions. But I know for a lot of people, actually what you want is to talk to a real person when you are trying to work out how to use this. Many hospitals have this already, and so many of patients, I suspect, will have experience of using a patient portal. The patient portal will also be linked to the NHS app, and it means that you will be able to seamlessly move through the NHS. So if you happen to be a patient at more than one hospital, you will not need to have lots of different passwords and lots of different apps on your phone. We will be recruiting patients to join this system from the 3rd of November, so that will start a little earlier. And we will be working through a series of go live readiness assessments. We've already started to do that. We have dry runs and tabletop exercises, shadow charting that is taking place today in theatres. And when we go live, it will be a period of quite intense activity at the trust, supported by floor walkers and a super user team, a training team that will come from UCLH, from EPIC, but also from other EPIC sites across the UK. And we are planning to maintain as much activity as possible, but put in intensive support. The model really being, if you are learning to drive, you drive more often, you don't drive less often. So we'll be putting the support in for people, and we recognise that this is going to be a time of real change, some stress for our teams, and we may see that there is some slower movement through outpatients, for example, through diagnostics, and we want to be around to support our patients through that. But I think we will need to ask for your patience and support, and I hope humour through this. I'm handing over.
I think we're going to do a video now.
Okay. Thank you very much. Before we move to questions, we do have one formality that we need to undertake, and that's the approval of the minutes of the AGM that was held on the 26th of September last year. So are there any questions or are we content to approve? Take that as approval then, thank you. So thank you to the presenters this afternoon. Let's take a moment and see if there are any questions. Anybody here in the room? Online? Any questions, Jen? No? Okay. Well, I guess with that, I'd just like to extend my thanks to all here at RNOH for everything that they do in service of our patients. We do some outstanding work here, and on behalf of the board, we're extremely proud. A big thank you to our patients as well for having the faith in us to allow us to care for them, which is really, really important. And a big thank you for everybody that has joined us this afternoon. So with that, I'll close the meeting. Thank you.